Hi guys, it's Kelly here, and I am back with another video. I am guest designing for Honeybee Stamps. Was thrilled when they sent me the email and asked me. So today I'm going to be using the Country Wreath set as well as the Bless Your Heart stamp set, which is a sentiment stamp. So the Country Wreath set has lots of florals and leaves, and so for you to build this beautiful wreath. But I wanted to use it a little bit differently. So I chose a long stem, a long branch, whatever you want to call it, and I stamped that down. I'm working on Nina Solar White cardstock, and then they have like a medium-sized rose in the set, and so I stamped that as well. Stamped a couple of masks. I'm using full sticky Post-it notes for my masks, and stamping in Intense Black by Simon Says Stamp, because it is Copic safe, and I'm going to color these with Copics. These little teeny tiny flowers are another one of the add-ons that you can use. So here I'm trying to figure out, like, I want to stamp a smaller one, and you can see, like, it totally flew off my block. That was my fault. I didn't stick it down good enough. And fortunately, disaster was averted because it landed with the sticky side down and not the ink side down. I would have found a way to fix it otherwise, because you know me, and I'm not starting over again. So I stamped all those down, and then I wanted to put in a background. Now I did mask the large roses, but I wasn't concerned about the leaves because they were going to be green, and the small flowers because they were just kind of background filler. So I am using Twisted Citron and my ink blending tool just to get down a good base. I'm just going from the corner until I have on enough color that I'm happy with the way that it looks. So from the Twisted Citron, we're going to Peacock Feathers. And this is just, I felt like it was going to be a good blend for a background, the green to the teal, and then we'll get to the Salty Ocean for the blue. And I've seen tons of like the ink blended backgrounds with the little water spatters lately, and so I was feeling that big time when I was making this card. So I just kind of blot the inking. What is this? The ink blender. I couldn't think of the word. Bear with me. It's 3:30 in the morning for me right now, and I just worked 12 hours. So you know, words are hard. So anyway, I just kind of pounced it off on my Ranger Craft mat because I wanted to be able to get good color in the middle without getting like a solid circle. So you'll see me sometimes just kind of pounce it off after I ink it up, and that is why I'm doing that. So once I was happy with the background and the amount of coverage that I had, I went ahead and just picked up some clean water on a paintbrush and kind of spattered that on. I'm not working on watercolor paper, so I don't want there to be a ton of water, but since Distress inks work with water, wherever the water touches, it will kind of push the water out, like little bleach spots, which is super pretty. And then I also wanted some shimmer, because all the things need shimmer everywhere. Like, wouldn't the world just be like a happier place if everything was just glittery? I think so. My world would be a happier place. So I'm using the W+9 shimmer spray. You can do this with Perfect Pearls. There's a bunch of other shimmer sprays out there. This is my favorite. I like the amount of shimmer that it gives, and I don't have to mix it. So now that I'm done with that, I'm going to go ahead and remove the masks, and then I'm going to go in and do my Copic coloring. So I'm going to show you just a couple leaves, a couple of the small flowers, a couple of the roses. It's all the same thing. I didn't want you to be sitting here for 100 years. So I'm just using two colors because they're so tiny. I'm filling all of the leaves in completely with the Giro, making up my own language. The YG03. And then I am adding a little bit of shading from the base of the branch with the YG17. And that was all the shading that I did on the leaves. It was just enough to make them kind of stand out. Now that I have all that done, I'm going to go in and do those smaller flowers blue. And this is, again, why I wasn't concerned about covering those up. If you are concerned about that, you could mask them. Or you could go in, I don't know, I never tried it, maybe with a little bit of water to kind of like bleach them out, like put a little bit of water and then blot it. I don't know how that would change the texture of the paper for your coloring, but maybe try that. So for the smaller flowers, I just did really simple shading and just used the dark right in the middle. For the large flowers, I'll be doing more traditional, at least for me, Copic coloring. I'm starting with my lightest color and putting just a line of that down where I want it to be the darkest, and then going in with my next color and going right over top of that. It took me a really long time to be able to color small images with several colors, because when I first started Copic coloring, I was seriously heavy-handed. Like, it was really bad. I always had colors bleeding all over the place, and I couldn't understand how people use them. You basically want to use the lightest touch possible, like just super, super light, just barely the tip of the marker, and just be really conscientious about where your edges are, especially with something like this where you're trying to leave that little bit of highlight. It can be very difficult. How I guess got around that was, traditionally I start with my lightest color because I'm heavy-handed with my darks. But for something like this, I would actually start with my dark and then work my way out to my light, just so I didn't get oversaturation and I didn't get my colors blowing out past my black lines. I don't need to do that anymore, but if you do, that's totally okay. Or maybe you just like that look. Maybe you like that look better. Whatever works for you. It's your card. Do what makes you happy. This is what works for me now that I've had like tons and tons of practice. So don't feel bad if you're trying it and it's not really working out, or it doesn't look like mine. Mine didn't look like mine 2 months ago or 6 months ago. Like, it's all just practice, folks. And then I went with an R as my darkest color because I didn't want them to be brown. Oranges you can kind of play around with for what you want your darkest color to be. But a lot of the YRs are super bright, so it makes it kind of difficult to get good shading. So I usually end up with an E as my darkest color, or an R. And these ones, I just felt like the R made it pop a little bit more, especially with the colors that I chose in the background, because they are orange is complementary to blue. So I went ahead and colored all of those flowers. And then, if you watch my channel, I have a serious addiction to shading. Like, I want my images to pop off the page. I think the card was pretty before I did this, mind you. It's not necessary. It isn't something that you would have to do. I just like it. So I started with a C5, and I'm putting that behind the heavier items. So the flowers, the leaves, things that would cast a larger shadow. I am not putting it behind the single line of the branch. For that, I'm using a C3. And this is, if you wanted it to give it depth, but you didn't want to do the grays, you could even mess around with line thickness. So just making your lines thicker on where you would want your quote-unquote shadows to be, and that would also help to give your image some dimension. There's a lot of different ways to do it. This just happens to be my favorite way. So I blended out the C5, I added some shadows to the actual branch lines, and then once that was done, I decided I wanted to go in with the white gel pen. I did the spatters with the water and with the shimmer spray. It was very, very subtle, and I wanted to just kind of build on that. So I went in and just added some white dots and kind of faded them out toward the top of the card. And this was something that was just a little bit more concrete. It's kind of difficult to see in the video, but in real life you can see it very nicely. And then I also went in and used it to add some white highlights to my rose petals. Just, again, a little something. I think those little details really count a lot when you're doing a simple card. And since I'm a clean and simple card maker, like all of the time, I need those little details. Here I'm connecting any of my branches to my flowers, and also any branches that I decided I wanted to lengthen. I'm connecting those as well, and then I'm going to use that same pen, which is an EK Success journaling pen or writing pen, and then I'm going to outline my image. With the Intense Black from Simon Says Stamp, it probably really isn't necessary, but it's just something that I like to do because I like bold black lines. So I do that for all of the entire image, the branch, the leaves, the little flowers, the whole deal. I'm committed to that black outline. Again, with the shimmer, because we've already agreed, or at least I hope you agree. If you don't agree, I'm sorry. Please don't leave me a comment that says, why do you put shimmer on everything? I'm giving you the warning right now. I put shimmer on everything, all the things. So that was Clear Wink Estella. I'm going to go ahead and do the sentiment now. This sentiment set is totally gorgeous. It's called Bless Your Heart. Um, and all of the sentiments in it are very sweet and loving and kind, and I adore that. But when I think of Bless Your Heart, I have to tell you that I think of like women in the South who are like, oh my God, did you see her hair? Bless her heart. Which is not like a nice thing. It's not bless her heart. It's not a nice thing. It's kind of like at work when somebody does something really dumb. We say, oh, you're so pretty. That's just like our thing. We went out to dinner the other night with some friends, and my girlfriend, who's totally adorable, and I love her. The description for the quesadilla had the ingredients, and it was like chicken, avocado, a bunch of other stuff that I will never eat because I don't like quesadillas, so I don't even know what's in them. But anyway, so she looks at her boyfriend and goes, do you think I can add chicken to this? And then she sees that it says chicken in the description, and then she like puts her hand over it like nobody's gonna notice that she just tried to add chicken to the chicken quesadilla. That was one of those you're so pretty moments. It was very, very funny. She, I swear to you, she's normally a very sweet, intelligent woman. But we all have those moments where we're just, dumb. Where thoughts get the better of us. So I stamped my sentiment. I outlined it in white because that's what I do to help it stand out. And then that is the whole card. So thank you so much for joining me, and thank you so much to Honeybee Stamps for having me as a guest designer. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I will catch you on the next video. Bye.